Governor Cuomo spent the early hours of the day down in the Canarsie subway tunnel taking a look at the damage leading to the L train subway shutdown next year. Here are his thoughts after the tour.
We came, reviewed the project, we heard the description, we understand what the project entails. It is a very important project, it's a vital project, and it's a complicated project. Safety comes first. You're talking about a 100-year-old tunnel, so you can imagine the amount of work that has to be done. You're talking about a 100-year-old tunnel that was immersed by Hurricane Sandy. And Hurricane Sandy, as we've learned the hard way, it's not that the floodwaters come in and then they disappear and everything is okay. The floodwaters came in, the salt came in, the salt stayed. And salt and electrical equipment is a toxic cocktail. When you add, on top of the fact that you have a 100-year-old tunnel, it did even more destruction. This project is unique in some ways because it is highly disruptive to New Yorkers. Everyone understands that construction has to be done, rehabilitation has to be done. I want to make sure, as governor of the state of New York, that I can look New Yorkers in the eye and say, we have gone through the project. We have gone through the project with the best minds on the globe. And this is the best way to do it and the fastest way to do it. I need personally to feel confident in that decision. And frankly, I don't want to hear it secondhand. I want to see it for myself. And I want to have the best minds that we can find, because this is very technical, who review what the plan is. And if there's a better way of doing it, they tell us there's a better way of doing it. If there's not a better way of doing it, and they say that's the best that can be done, fine, then I feel confident going to New Yorkers and saying that. Now, the professionals that we brought today know the state of the art in construction and design and materials that are being used in different countries and in different applications. So there are different dimensions to this project. There's a concrete component, there's an electrical component, there's a number of different facets. They had very interesting feedback. They've asked many interesting questions. They're going to need more information before they can come up with a definitive conclusion. I've asked them to, as quickly as possible, get with the MTA. Let's get all the information together so we can see what suggestions they have. And again, I just want the facts, and I want the truth, and I want New Yorkers to have the truth. I know there's a lot of concern about the project, and I want to be able to say, once again, everyone who knows how to do this has looked at it, and this is the best way and the fastest way. And I think at the end of this process that I will feel comfortable saying that, and I hope New Yorkers will feel comfortable knowing that we did everything we could to do the right project as fast as we can. No questions?
Governor, if they found out that
I say that anyway just to see if they say it. Yeah, I know. Go ahead.
How do you get around the contracts that have been signed?
Well, that's, look, there'll be follow-up meetings over the next couple of weeks. One conclusion that can be reached is everything that is being done is right, and there are no suggestions. Second option is we have some minor suggestions to make that could save some time. Third suggestion is we have improvements that we can make to the system. And the fourth suggestion is we have a totally different theory of how this can be done. New materials, new engineering techniques, etc. We will do it the best and the fastest way we can do it, and we will make the contract fit the recommendation. I'm not going to pursue a project because we executed a contract we'll adjust the contract to fit the project that we want to do.
Why now, Governor, when just 4 months before the start of the scheduled start of this project? Why not 2 years ago for this?
Well, because it's 4 months before the scheduled start of the project. Your question is the answer. We have had this conversation for 4 years. The best way to do it, the fastest way to do it, the best way to do it, the fastest way to do it. That has been the charge for 4 years. The MTA believes their methodology is the best way to do it and the fastest way to do it. New Yorkers tend to be a skeptical bunch. This is going to be highly disruptive. Construction is going to start in 4 months, and I wanted to make sure we get the best minds again on the globe to review the project, because I want to be able to say, and I want them to be able to validate, we know this is disruptive, but there's no alternative.
Governor, are there people telling the MTA during this process to start preparing for an L train shutdown plan that does the work on nights and weekends? Is there any kind of prep on that the MTA is getting for doing it nights and weekends instead of the 15-month full-time shutdown?
No. We are on course to do the project starting in 4 months, as discussed and laid out. This is the first time there's been a discussion of the overall project. And obviously, it's just a preliminary look today. A lot of work has to be done. A lot of research has to be done. So no, we're going ahead with the plan as planned. And again, the conclusion may be affirming the MTA's plan, and that'll be fine.
How soon will you know if tonight's visit changes the scope of the project?
I don't want to push our guests too hard because they're busy and they're doing this just as good citizens. But I think 2-3 weeks, we would have a sense of what they see and what they think.
One more, guys.
Briefly describe what you saw, Governor.
We saw a very old tunnel that needed a lot of work, and we saw the problems that had been explained and the work that has to be done. You have electrical conduit that powers the trains, that powers communications, that is encased in old concrete. The concrete is cracked. When Hurricane Sandy came in, the salt water went into the concrete, sat and corroded the cables, and you need basically an entirely new electrical system, and you need to repair the concrete damage that has been done.
Worse than under the rail?
Comparable. You're talking about 2 100-year-old tunnels, and it's amazing, frankly, that, think about it, these were tunnels built in the early 1900s. They're still operational. But the Hurricane Sandy damage was extensive. And again, the salt doesn't leave, and it mixes with the electrical, and that's an ongoing problem, and it has been an ongoing problem. But I would say this is comparable to Gateway. I would say it's not as bad as what we saw in the Queens Midtown Tunnel, Brooklyn Battery Tunnel, but it's bad. You know, so you start with a 100-year-old tunnel, you have a problem in the first place.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, thank you.